Who will be our CM?
Maybe as soon as tomorrow. That doesn't happen easily. I mean, that's a threefold, 300% increase.
What will you offer to him other than the CM post?
You know, what's very impressive about the Congress in this election, I was also talking to people like you, the journalists.
Do you regret not contesting?
4 elections already, more than I expected to fight or win, and I've managed to do both. Now, do I want to go a fifth one, or whether have I earned the right to move on to... Nemom is not a surprise in itself, because don't forget, it was already a BJP seat.
What changed or what not changed for the India Alliance after today? You indicated that you don't want to contest again. You want to add more, book covers to your shelf.
That's right.
Especially in Tamil Nadu, where you could have been an ally to TVK. And
we all know that TVK so far appears to be somewhat short of a majority and will need allies. And obviously, the India Alliance parties are there.
About your old buddy, Rajeev Chandrasekhar. He has become a Nemom MLA now. Please. Thank you for talking to Indian Express.
Pleasure.
I think everybody who is somebody in Kerala is getting asked the same question. I also have the same question. Who will be our CM? I mean, we gave you 102 seats over more than 100 plus. You owe it to the public to name a CM candidate by now. What's the delay?
I think the fact is that because the Congress is such an abundance of talents in Kerala, and that we have so many people with the experience, the seniority, the years in politics to be able to be a credible CM contender, that no one can give you a simple answer. I think in the old days when we had an incumbent CM or an ex-CM, it was easier to say. Today it no longer is. But what will happen, I have no doubt, is that very quickly we will see the headquarters consulting with the elected MLAs, maybe as soon as tomorrow. And then once they've got their feedback, they'll make a decision on the High Command in Delhi. I wouldn't worry if I were you. I think it'll come pretty quick.
I bet you practiced this front of a mirror yesterday, because you've been giving, and all other Congress leaders have been giving sort of the same standard reply that the leadership is good. Yeah. But sir, the problem is, how long this will take. That's what everybody wants to.
At least, I think the message is very clear.
Will it take 2 days? Will it take a week?
Message is very clear that we don't want to drag this out in an unseemly way. I'm pretty sure from what I know of the leadership's intentions, that their intention is to get this done fairly quickly.
Fairly quickly could be a long time.
See, if I give you a date and for whatever reason that date slips, you will make a story out of that too. So let me just say, it will happen soon, and certainly as soon as possible.
Please make it soon. Journalists have families. They have to go back to their families. Also, you said you have so many aspirants, you have so many talents. And the problem is exactly that. You have someone like Ramesh Chennithala. What will you offer to him other than the CM post? He has been everything in the state except deputy CM, if he wanted to. But his only ambition in his life, remaining ambition, is to become the CM of Kerala one day.
I know, but I think you have to understand that the party will always have to take various factors into consideration. And whatever they decide, I hope they'll be able to speak to whoever doesn't make it in ways that can keep them on board. What's very impressive about the Congress in this election is the extent to which party unity was accomplished. Even though there were controversies around ticket distribution, and even though there were definitely disappointed aspirants who felt they deserved it more, in no case did you find a major rebel candidate. In fact, in every case, the disappointed aspirants, the bypassed aspirants, the people who were MPs and wanted to ML, every one of them, they actually rallied behind the selected candidate, campaigned for him or her. It was an amazing evidence of party unity. And I hope we'll see the same unity once the Chief Minister decision is made for whoever it is.
And you were one of the star campaigners for Congress.
Yep.
Every time there's an election around, no matter which election. What did you see on the ground that's different from this election?
I think a tremendous desire for change. I think wherever I went, people were hanging on to our words. They wanted to see a positive message that we are going to move away from what you're seeing around you right now in the state. And I think that desire for change was absolutely clear from literally wherever I went. In fact, my staff have just calculated that of the 59 candidates we campaigned for directly, 49 have won. And that's already a pretty high track record. But it shows that what I got back from my campaigning is an accurate reflection of what the public clearly wanted to see.
I'm amazed by the enormity of the scale of this victory, because it's something that nobody has predicted.
Correct.
People inside the Congress.
Satishan points out that he predicted it to me, And he is right. He did talk about 100. I told him that I didn't agree with him and that I would be happier with a lower number because that's what I'm picking up from other observers as well. I was not only talking to, I was also talking to people like you, the journalists, the people from other parties. And overall, I settled on an average that was somewhat short of the number that we've just seen today. Today's number is historic and it's also beyond the expectations of the vast majority of observers.
We are all inside an echo chamber. Journalists talk to politicians, they'll give a number and they'll talk to another politician and pass out the number. The best I have received until yesterday was 85-90. And this, even that was kind of shocking to me because from where you're starting, you had out of 14 districts in Kerala, 11 districts, you had altogether 16 MLAs or something, whereas the total number of those seats in those districts
Look, we had just 21 MLAs in the last assembly.
Yeah.
We've gone to 62.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen easily. I mean, that's a threefold, 300% increase.
Yeah. The last time I guess something like this happened was when A.K. Antony was campaigning, and back in 2001 you got something similar. But that itself...
It wasn't as high as this from what I remember.
No, it wasn't. It was 99, I guess. Yeah. But you had A.K. Antony in front of leading the charge. And now it's not one person, it's a community of leaders.
That's right.
But so you didn't expect this kind of a result?
Personally, no. But then I'm not claiming to be an expert. I mean, even the exit polls, as you know, no one came up with such a high number.
Yeah.
But everyone more or less converged on the low 80s, pretty much. And that was something which, honestly, for me, would have been a very comfortable win because last time around we won with 72 to 68. So if we had got 80 to 60, we would have felt very secure. To get to 100 is a miracle, and I believe it's a genuine mandate for change. I think when you give that kind of vote to a party or a coalition, what you're saying is take the state and change it.
Do you regret not contesting? At some point, you were also thought to be like one of the...
No, I know that there was, but first of all, there was a general consensus in the party that MPs should stay focused on being MPs and that the state elections were for others. So that, to begin with, applied to everybody. Secondly, for me, my focus in my political career so far, which is only 17 odd years, has always been national and international. And my involvement in Kerala has been more at the policy conceptual level. I don't know if you've noticed that in the last year or so, I must have written a dozen articles in national media about various aspects of Kerala development, which interest me intellectually. And I've said to many of the leaders who are the aspiring chief ministers that my ideas are very much available to them. And if they want to pursue any of these, that I will be very happy to help them do so. And they all seem to have welcomed this. So I'm very much looking forward to being of some use to the new government. So I don't think that by not being in the race, I'm missing out on contributing whatever intellectually I can contribute to the growth and development and progress of Kerala.
Nationally, apart from Kerala, there are all other states have like sad news for Congress. Especially in Tamil Nadu, where you could have been an ally to TVK and the underdog in Tamil Nadu elections this time. They've offered an alliance, is what is being reported.
Yeah.
You denied it. And now, they're probably going to make the government there.
No, wait a minute. There are two things to be said. Number one, I think there's no shame in having remained a loyal ally to the party you've been with for many years. That is something which I think, in my own experience, having talked to our colleagues who came in good numbers from Tamil Nadu between DMK and Congress in the elections of 2024, there was very much a sense of affinity that many Congress MPs felt they won with DMK support. Many DMK MPs were grateful for Congress support. And I think that alliance continuing had a certain value in it. So there's no shame in saying that if you lost because you were a good ally, a loyal ally. I think loyalty has to have some value. Having said that, I'm told that once the government formation issue comes up, there may be other possibilities. And we all know that TVK so far appears to be somewhat short of a majority and will need allies. And obviously the India Alliance parties are there. I mean, Congress has 5, IUML has 2, CPI has 2, and so on. There are some numbers available that could be discussed. Now, I don't deal with Tamil Nadu, and I'm the wrong person to be expressing an opinion on this. But I'm just saying that mathematically there are various possibilities.
But do you see part of it as part of a trend where, you see, last few years we have been seeing a pro-incumbency wave. Sitting governments have been voted back to power. But this election showed that, almost all the sitting chief ministers are being thrown out on a massive scale of, votes. So,
but the last elections were just after COVID here and in many other states, including Bengal. And I think after COVID, there was a need for reassurance. people wanted stability, predictability, and not change. Even the CPM coming back to power with the kind of vote they got last time was a surprise to me. I didn't think they'd get so much because I didn't think they had done so well as a government. And that some of the accomplishments of Kerala during COVID were accomplishments of Kerala society rather than of the government per se. But nonetheless, that's what people wanted and they gave it. Today, that kind of thing is absent, and you can look at the government's functioning as a government, and very clearly people have found it wanting.
So it's a vote for change everywhere, in a sense.
No doubt.
About your old buddy, Rajeev Chandrasekhar. He has become a Nemom MLA now. And I met him really recently and I asked him a specific question about whether you will be interested to contest Lok Sabha election, no matter whether you win or lose Nemom. And he said, of course. He's come here for the Nemom, for the Trivandrum Lok Sabha seat, not for the Nemom seat. Nemom is just a stop for him before going to the Lok Sabha election. What do you think?
No, look, Nemom is not a surprise in itself because don't forget it was already a BJP seat, BJP's first ever seat in the Sabha, in the Legislative Assembly back in 2016. And then O. Rajagopal lost it in 21 and therefore Rajiv has simply recaptured it. And at that time, I had already pointed out that Nemom is the one assembly constituency within my parliamentary constituency that I have not won since 2009. I won it in 2009 when I won all 7 parliamentary constituencies. But even in my best results since then, which was 2019 when I had a lakh majority, I couldn't hold Nemom. Nemom is very strongly BJP. And therefore, I don't think any of us will claim to be surprised by what happened in Nemom. I think we both the secular parties would have wanted to give Rajiv a good fight, and I believe we did. But I think now we're looking at a reality that he has consolidated.
The reason why I asked that question is you two have a relationship, a dosti that goes back 2 years. His contest in Lok Sabha is tied to your standing in the community and whether you will be willing to contest next time or not. What do you want to do next time?
Look, I made it clear last time that
you indicated that you don't want to contest again. You want to add more book covers to your shelf.
That's right, exactly.
But if you're not contesting, it's going to be very tough for Congress to win Lok Sabha right now.
So I'll discuss it with the party at that time. We're still 3 years away, Nidheesh. Let's not rush into it. If you are asking me what is my intention today, it would not be to contest. I believe having fought and won 4 elections, having come into politics rather late in life, 4 elections already more than I expected to fight or win, and I've managed to do both. Now, do I want to go a 5th one, or whether have I earned the right to move on to the upper house or anything like that? All of that has to be discussed. At this stage, what is important is to get the UDF government in Kerala up and running and being effective and working hard. If they're doing well, then whoever the Congress candidate in Trivandrum is will have that much more of a boost because he or she would be running for a government that has actually done well in the government, in the state. If, on the other hand, the government has disappointed people, then the Congress UDF ticket will be a different burden. So you'll have to just see how it goes. Let the time come. We will certainly speak. My own view is that Rajiv also has to prove himself as an MLA. And if he is able to be an effective MLA in a state where retail politics is very demanding, and perhaps he has not yet had a full taste of it, he will now, where people are coming to ask you about their potholes, about their sewage, about their drinking water, about their admissions, their promotions, their transfers, their bank loans. When Rajiv is dealing with all that, he might be able to find out what it takes to be a public representative.
Exactly why I asked you that question, because today is the day you may have thought about this very deeply. I thought, it's like 3 years down the line, he's not coming to contest as a BJP president. He's coming contest as an MLA with a track record to show. So that today just made the stakes for next Lok Sabha election in Trivandrum much, much higher, right?
We'll see. There's still 3 years to go. And I think the whole line that a week is a long time in politics. If a week is a long time in politics, how long a time is 3 years? Let's see.
What changed or what not changed for the India Alliance after today?
Well, look, I think you can't draw immediate conclusions. The India Alliance, as you know, has had a certain history in the sense that not every India Alliance member has been allied in the state. The India Alliance has been a central alliance, and in every state, it has to be reinvented afresh. Now, in Tamil Nadu, the India Alliance is completely intact. CPM, IUML, Congress, DMK are all members of the India Alliance. They're all together in Tamil Nadu. But if you take the same parties in Kerala, the CPM and CPI are in a different grouping and we are in a different grouping. Similarly, in Bengal, the TMC has coordinated with the India Alliance in the past and has been a member and has attended meetings of the India Alliance in the past. But in Bengal, they have been opposed to us and we have been opposed to them. And what is more, in this election, we and the CPM were also not allied to each other. So the India Alliance is a slightly complicated creature when you think in terms of the differences between centre and state and the differences amongst states. So for that reason, I would say I think you have the right to wait and see whether we are going to end up with an opportunity for all the states to say, all these parties to say, all right, the state elections are behind us. Now let's converge nationally and give the BJP a robust opposition. I believe that the wind in the sails that we have got out of Kerala by winning a government we have not ruled for 10 years should carry us forward, for example, to Punjab. And I think it will be great if the India Alliance stays together for the remaining elections in the next couple of years.
It's a major confidence boost in that way.
I think this is a confidence boost, even though the BJP can also say that they've emerged from today with a confidence boost for themselves after Bengal and Assam. I mean, Puducherry was not really a surprise, so I'll just say Bengal and Assam. And then TVK might yet himself be invited. Vijay might be invited to join the India Alliance. It's not being excluded. We'll have to see. So my gut feeling about all this is, today is too early to come to apocalyptic conclusions, but it seems to have been a day from which both the government and the opposition can take heart.
Today is a day where your happiness meter will be like off the charts. But I think there's always been this whisper campaign in Kerala during the election, post-voting also, that if UDF comes to power, it will be at the mercy of the pulls and pressures of all your vested interests, minority communities, all sort of community organizations. How are you going to deal with this will be very crucial about the next few years down the line, whether you will be win it back in the same way and all that.
Look, to begin with, you're looking at a situation which in Kerala is analogous to the BJP situation in Delhi. That is that the central party in the coalition is so overwhelmingly strong that the allies tend not to be in a position to dictate terms. Let me ask you pointedly, you need 71, but Congress alone has 62. Can any ally dictate terms to the Congress?
So you think this is scaremongering?
Yeah. I think the thinking was that, for example, in the previous government, there was a perception that the Congress government was vulnerable to pretty much any one of its coalition partners threatening to pull support because it has such a precarious majority. Today, that is no longer the case. When you've got the kind of majority, and similarly in Delhi, you're seeing a situation where even if any one of Mr. Modi's allies pulls support, because of his other allies, he has enough to survive. And those other allies don't have enough in common with each other to want to bring the BJP government down. So the BJP, despite not having an absolute majority, is feeling very secure in Delhi. Similarly, in Kerala, the Congress may not have an absolute majority, but its numbers are so strong that it is pretty secure and it can carry the day on pretty much any policy initiative or any governmental decision that it feels is important to it. I think the Congress coalition dharma of being able to listen to your coalition partners, talk to them, take them along with you, explain yourself to them, that is still there. And that should be part of the style of functioning. But I don't think the implication that we are going to be held to ransom by anybody can hold up against the real mathematics of this.
But that also means that, on the contrary, on the other side, that also means that you'll need someone at the helm of the government who will not be, doing this, will not be available for this kind of, vested interest. And that person is probably very Sadishan.
I can't name names for the obvious reason that this is really the prerogative of the High Command. All I can say is I have obviously looked at all of this and these individuals very closely. I've had the benefit of working with all of them. I'm genuinely impressed with the quality of the talent available to the government, to the future government. And when and if the Congress High Command or leadership seeks my views, I'll give it to them rather than, if you don't mind, Nidheesh, to you.
But are you worried that the government the government that is coming to power next will be making the same mistakes like the previous government, also they'll have to carry forward some of the legacy of the previous government. For example, KIFB is a big issue. It's a very micro Kerala thing to ask you, but still I meant to ask you because this is a big thing in Kerala. Almost all of our infrastructure funding right now happens to KIFB. You have your own a lot of projects in Trivandrum depending upon KIFB. And the guy that just got to become an MLA, CP John, has been one of the fiercest critics of KIFB.
Yeah.
So at some level, if you have to advise the next Chief Minister of Kerala, probably you may want to advise that don't kill almost every policy decision that the previous government made.
No, right? But I think definitely getting on top of the fiscal crisis into which the state has been plunged is going to be a major priority for any Kerala government.
Okay.
I would say that whoever the Chief Minister is, he or she should have a strong finance minister with a clear vision as to what to do about this. This is a state currently thriving and surviving only on liquor excise, remittances and lotteries. That is no basis to run a government. By September, they're out of money. They're borrowing money to pay their salaries and Onam bonuses. You cannot go on like that. There has to be what I call a 1991 moment in the economics of Kerala. We need to have as transformative an approach because our crisis today is as dire as India's was in 1991 when the Chandrasekhar government sent our physical stocks of gold off to London to stand collateral for an IMF loan. If we were a sovereign country, Kerala would have to be doing something similar. We're technically otherwise bankrupt. So I want to say that we are due a 1991 moment. We have to now absolutely identify sources of revenue generation. Obviously, that involves bringing in investment, making genuine ease of doing business in the state, and transforming the way in which we approach the issues of growth and revenue for the state. And we must do that in such a way that we can have jobs generated in a state whose young people are fleeing to other states and other countries because they see no opportunities here. Don't forget that Kerala, sadly, is the state with the highest unemployment rate amongst young people, youth unemployment, highest rate after Kashmir. It's a disgrace and it need not be. With all the talent, the educated, the workforce and so on, we should be absolutely thriving here. But instead, our young people are going off to Tamil Nadu and Bangalore and elsewhere and to the Gulf looking for jobs. That needs to be reversed because by working here, they will generate revenue for our state.
We just give media so many points to talk about in the next 1 year. We'll be asking you all this question in the next 1 year because you will be sitting.
Well, it's fairly sure that I won't be the Chief Minister or the Finance Minister, but I certainly hope to convey my thoughts on all this to them.
Yeah.
And you can certainly ask them what they're doing. My gut feeling is this has to be the moment when you got a mandate like this.
Yeah.
This is a license from the public to be transformative, and that's what we should be.
So the elections are over. Now let's get to business.
That's exactly my message. The elections are over. We have a mandate. We have the trust of the people who want change. Let's deliver change. Let's get down to business.
Okay. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.